what are you looking for? What kind of entrepreneur you're looking for? What do they need? What assets? What's financial background? How long does this process take? And what's a good deal? What's a bad deal? Everything. So let's get into that.
Okay, I hope we have more than an hour.
No, man, you gotta be zero in
No,
just on the top points there.
I guess I'll share a couple of stories with you because everybody likes stories, number one. And number two, they can relate to it. So had a really interesting borrower come to me. He had a really strong background. He was in the military. So he came out of the military. So he had great military training. He went back to school. He got his MBA. And he came to me and he said, Bruce, I'm working with some investors and we are looking at the acquisition of a $6.5 million transaction. I said, okay. He had $50,000 to put into the deal, John. 50.
Yeah.
And he raised up about $1,350,000 on the deal.
Was this raised just commitments or it was in a escrow or a fund somewhere?
Yeah, we ended up closing the deal. So it was actually raised dollars.
Okay.
And what they did was they had put in about $1.3 million in equity. The seller held a small loan, and we did a $5 million SBA loan. But the searcher, in this case, or buyer, whatever you want to call them, put in $50,000 into the transaction. Mm-hmm. And so when we look at it, and the way that I look at it is you're betting on that person who you're lending to. And to me, it really doesn't matter whether he's putting in 50,000 or 250,000 because his skill set is not going to change, right? His aptitude is not going to change. He has all those things, whether he brings in 50,000 or 250,000. So to me, it really doesn't matter. I'm not looking at the net worth. I'm not looking at his assets. We're a pure cash flow lender.
Okay. How much of the business did he end up owning in the cap table? And
so what ends up happening is they own the majority of the common, and then they'll do some preferred, and that looks a little bit different. But
was the way preferred for the investors?
The preferred, yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah. So they end up generally owning anywhere from 75 to 80% of the common. And the reason is because with SBA, you cannot have anybody own more than 20%. And otherwise they would be a guarantor on the loan. And obviously from an investment standpoint, that's what you're looking at. You're not guaranteeing the loan. You're looking at it as an investment vehicle. You're supporting that searcher. You're getting a pref return. Ultimately, they grow that business. They sell it 4 or 5 years from now, and they get a piece of another bite of the apple when they sell the business.
So that's how I do my little math here. So that 1.5 million those investors brought in was less than 20%, like 19, 17% of the business.
No, because there's really not a correlation between the equity check and a percent dollar for dollar, right? You don't look at it and say, okay, the cap table is 100%. I'm putting in $1 million. So, of the total. And so I'm going to get 70% of the business. It doesn't work that way.